Well, John, opening day, always such a special occasion for every supporter. What's it like for a head coach?
Yeah, it's exciting. You know, we've had a really good 6 weeks. I think the level of the attitude of the boys has been fantastic. You know, we've had a lot of young boys training with us over the 6 weeks, which has been brilliant for them. It's great to expose them to first team football, and the 11 and 12 regulars, senior boys who have been training with us have done very well. So the attitude of the group's been fantastic.
We talked various points last season about how little time you had with the players when you came in February. How much have you enjoyed that time with them out on the training pitch out in Austria, just to get to know them as well, I suppose? Yeah,
listen, it's been a great 6 weeks with the staff and the players. You know, there's been a real togetherness there. You know, the bonds been there. We had it anyway. You know, after all the good work that we did last year, all the boys that are still here have been excellent. Their attitudes have been different class. So you know, it's been a good 6 weeks.
Has the time enabled you to do things and get messages across that you would have wanted to last season?
No, I think we've just continued on from last season. I think you look at the group that we've had. You know, we've made a large number of signings, but they haven't been involved in the 6 weeks. So, you know, with the team that we've had, it's been quite regular. In all the pre-season games, you know, I think I spoke after last season. 5 of them players were in the squad from last year and probably didn't get as many minutes as what they wanted. We've been able to embed 2 signings and then 3 regulars from last season as well. So, you know, on that side of it, you know, it has been a little bit frustrating because we haven't been able to get the new group together and rocking and rolling. But you know, what I have seen of the group has been excellent, and the attitudes has been fantastic.
Just on that front, a lot of new faces around the place, and I won't ask you about all 10 individually. But generally, what have you been looking to add to your squad this summer?
I think we've wanted to get the age profile down. You know, I think we wanted to bring some leaders in, you know, have led other clubs, championship experience as well, which is key, and some really exciting young players with a point to prove. And I think up to now the club have worked their socks off to make sure we get them players in. You know, and it's now about getting them involved in the squad. You know, seeing the squad really grow throughout the season. You know, the squad's certainly going to grow and improve throughout the season, and making sure we don't rush anyone.
I did want to ask about the 2 that have arrived this week in particular. Bobby Clark first, who intimated to us that he maybe first heard that this might be on the cards 3 weeks ago when you played RB Salzburg out in Austria. Does that underline that these things take time sometimes to get deals over the line?
Of course it does. You know, we recruited Bobby. He's a top young talent. You know, he's had a fantastic move last year of £10 million from Liverpool. You know, and for whatever reason it hasn't gone how he wanted it. So, you know, he's a player that I've admired for the last couple of years, watching his development at Liverpool, and you know, I'm delighted that he's chosen to join us, the Derby County family, and he knows that he'll be developed properly and looked after by the group.
And what about Dion Sanderson? You've signed him for a 3rd time, working with him for a 4th time. Tell us about that relationship, because it must be a special one.
Again, you know, we need cover at the back at the moment. We need to bring in good, experienced championship players. He's only 25, so a really good age for us. He's very athletic. You know, he can play a number of positions, which is key at the moment, especially because we're lacking numbers due to injuries in the defensive area. So, listen, Dion was captain at Birmingham at 22. I think it was, you know, so he's coming with a wealth of experience, and he'll also have a bit of a point to prove, which is great.
Looking ahead then, Stoke on opening day, your opponent's a club you know very well, a club as established as any in the Championship. What do you expect from them?
A really difficult game. They've got a fantastic squad. They've got a very good manager in Mark, who's done a terrific job wherever he's been. So we know it's going to be a difficult game, but one we'll be ready for and try to be as competitive as we can.
And in terms of what you hope and expect from this season, do you have a conversation? Do you set aims, targets with the players? Do you talk positions, or is it you want to build something?
Well, as I said from day one, we want to build something very special here. You know, that's not done with a quick process. You know, we've brought 10 players in up to now. It's going to take time for that group to develop and grow. You know, to help the players that are already here as well. We want to create something very special, but that's going to be done over the course of time. And, you know, what I've seen up to now, the attitude of the group's been fantastic. You know, we're going to have to see patience, but, you know, it's going to be an exciting season, I'm sure.
John, best of luck.
Thank you.